it's quickly turned into sex.
Is it a white dude?
Yes, white guy, Christian professor,
Oh.
started calling me Hardy R. I was like, I don't know why I'm not feeling offended by this, but that was kind of hot.
Welcome back to Other People's Lives. I'm Joe Santagato.
I'm Greg Dybec.
For anyone out there who would like to be a guest on our show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email is oplpodcast@gmail.com.
Today, we're speaking with a man who is into race play. He is a straight black male, but he is into race play, specifically racism role play and slavery role play, and he enjoys this with other men despite identifying as straight. So we've got the guest on the line, and thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So can we kick this off with your definition of race play?
Yeah. So race play is between a black person and a white person, and the white person is dominating the black person and using racial slurs like Hardy R, monkey, other things like that, like the worst of the worst, what most people define as like really horrible.
So how did you come to find that you were into this sort of thing?
Yeah, so I've grown up actually in Christian home, raised by both parents, and my dad was in the Air Force, so we moved around all the time. And so I've always grown up around white people, if that makes sense. And so I think the first thing for me was my first like encounter with another guy was probably when I was in high school. I had someone approach me in the locker room during sports, and we kind of did a little something, and it kind of escalated, just like a blow job here or there. Then I was like, am I gay or am I straight? And then I was like, no, I still like girls. And so years after that was probably in middle school. Years after that, going into college, I was like, oh, that was really, really fun that one time that happened. I kind of was intrigued about it again, and approached by a professor at the college that I was at. And he wanted to do something again. And I remember that one time that I had fun with that one guy in middle school. And so I was like, yeah, sure, we could do this, but I'm not gay or anything. And so he came over to my dorm room. It wasn't uncommon for professors to see them in a dorm per se, like see them in the lobby or something. But I knew there was a day that this was a Christian college, by the way. So I knew during the day that there was like a chapel service that was going on, that most guys were out. All the guys in my dorm room were out at that particular service, and the professor came into my dorm room, and what turned into a blowjob was after that it's quickly turned into sex, and during it he started calling me Hardy R.
Like unprompted, just on his own?
On his own, just started calling me like Hardy R.
White dude?
And, what did you say?
Is it a white dude?
Yes, white guy, Christian professor, started calling me Hardy R, and saying a lot of derogatory things like "you're good for nothing," like I'm gonna hang you, I want to rape you, and all these other things. And it ended up being super intense, and probably one of the coolest moments. Oddly, I was like, I don't know why I'm not feeling offended by this, but that was kind of hot, to be honest.
So it just immediately turned you on, because that must have just come out of nowhere.
It was a little alarming, but then as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, that was kind of really cool, actually. And it was the first time I'd ever had sex with another guy. And so after that, he patted me on the cheek and told me good NER. I mean, like hard ER again, and then just walked away. And then as soon as he closed the door, I sat there and was like, wait, I kind of like that. And so years later, I had someone else. I was like, how can I find that again? And I didn't realize that there's a whole community of people that are really, really, really into this. And so I quickly found out on the old Craigslist that there was a community like this. And then once that shut down, I knew that it was kind of like something that I could see if I wanted to play around with this. And I've been kind of addicted since.
So, I mean, this professor that you're talking about, that sort of this whole thing started with, you guys only had sex one time?
We had sex one time.
That's...
He tried to reach out, but I didn't. I was scared of getting like caught or perceived as gay, and so I kind of ignored him. But he tried like the next week, and then after that, he actually left the school.
Okay.
Do you think that guy is like racist?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that doesn't really deter you from enjoying that, even though, like, you know, because I mean, to me, the idea of race play is kind of like, you know, we're both under the understanding this is not coming from a place of hate. So, like, you know, we're just kind of whatever.
Only I say that only because like we didn't talk about it before, so he didn't know if I would be into it, but he just did that. And then I think because he left so quickly, the school like resigned the college. I was like, oh, I think he might have been high key racist and just like, yeah.
Sounds like the highest of keys.
Yeah, he just had to get that off. Wow.
I did forget to say, after I graduated this Christian college, I moved to Alabama in a very Alabama's known for being a little racist.
Just a little.
Per se. And I moved to Alabama, and while I was in Alabama, I was in like a super small town, very country, super redneck, and I ran into a lot of guys that were into this.
So in general, like as separate from the first the professor who didn't even talk about this and just went for it, you discover this community, Craigslist, now you're in Alabama. Would you say in the race play community, are these racist people who are like have an opportunity to just speak their racism out loud? Or is it more of role play, and do you think that they don't necessarily harbor those feelings?
Yeah, I've had some people like afterwards like be like, hey, just by the way, you know, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, no, you're fine. So I don't think that they're just racist, that they're all just racist that are just unmasking it, but I do think that they're just people that are doing it for the role play. But then I think that there's also like another half that are people that do believe this, that are also like down to do it with someone that's black.
Is this something that you also do with women?
Yeah, I've done it with women twice, and both times I was like, this isn't like, the intensity isn't as intense, because whenever you're doing these scenarios, it's more of like with guys, it's like talking about picking cotton and like extremes like that, more of like guy on guy, whereas like girl, it's like the girl's like, I'm gonna tell my husband. So it's not as intense. So I prefer to do it with guys.
So you're really looking for just the most degrading situation possible.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved because just because I've had more people that kind of are way more experienced than me show me different things that I've heard the absolute worst about people that have died that were black, that are well known, and I don't want to say people's name because I don't know how bad you want me to say, but I've heard the absolute worst. And then like, as time's gone on, I'm like, I don't know why that was kind of hot.
And you've never been offended by anything you've heard?
No. So like, to the point that like, if people casually and like, it's kind of desensitized me from the word hard ER and animal references, and it kind of has desensitized me from it just because I use it so much in role play.
And so how often are you sort of engaging in this? I mean, what % of your sexual encounters now involve race play? Is this something that has been consistent now, or, you know?
Yeah, well, I would say it's getting more and more consistent. Right now, I kind of will find a lot of porn sites have scenarios, and I'll just watch, and that's really my thing sometimes if I can't get access to someone. But if I can just living in the South right now, it's easier to find guys that like doing this stuff. So it's not like 6 or 7 times a week. It's not like a daily thing, but it is a thing that I like, and something that is actually, I can find like 2 or 3 times a month.
Okay.
But what about your encounters that don't involve race play? Like, are those just now, like, those don't really happen, or they do happen and it's kind of like, oh, this isn't as good as the race play?
Honestly, yeah, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Are you still having sex with women?
Yeah.
Okay. But a lot of men too. And with men, it's always with race play involved?
Yeah. With men, it's always race play involved.
So why do you identify as straight, like just straight and not bi?
Because I grew up in a Christian household, and I guess I've just been raised women, and I've liked women, but like coming out or doing that, I'm so involved in church that like even position wise, like not like I'm on staff at a church, but like I lead worship at a church, like I super involved in the community. And so I wouldn't say that I am gay or bi. I just kind of like what I like.
You're sort of just like protecting yourself from the term, I guess, because of your role in the church. But like if someone was like, hey, dude, you're having a lot of sex with dudes, that's kind of gay. Like, do you have a defense for that? Or is it just something you'd rather not kind of address?
Honestly,
or like put a term to?
I just really don't address.
Okay.
Does anyone in your life know that you have sex with men, or that you are like into this sort of, I guess, kink, we'll call it?
I think my best friend knows that it's not off the table. Like, I make a lot of jokes. Like, it's the point, like, it's kind of like if I told my best friend, like, blatantly, like, I'm super into race play with guys, she wouldn't be like, what? Like, she wouldn't be, just because I naturally, just by living in the South, I make a lot of like black jokes, or I make a lot of like race jokes, and about like guy and guy, that like it would be like, oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, now I see why you keep making those jokes.
Yeah.
Can you, to the best of your ability, explain why this is such a turn on for you? Like in that role play and this dynamic, and it's obviously so degrading and it's racist, and it's like, but what is it for you that is such a turn on?
Honestly, I think it's because I am naturally a super dominant person. Another dominant person kind of like degrading me kind of is like more, that sounds more inferior, that it acts a certain way, comes off a certain way, is kind of it's a unique feeling that like I don't really get to feel. So it kind of like is like a little outlet where I get to like feel like a little not less than, but less than.
Right. When you're with men, do you ever take the dominant role, or is it like a submissive role?
I've had like one guy that was like, okay, yeah, let's do this, but like you're a dominant slave and you're overtaking like my plantation. And I was like, this would never happen. So I don't kind of like this.
Wow. So is your role, this seems like heavy role play. Like there's a whole scenario and like,
it can range from like me just blowing someone to like me like, and then them saying things or like slapping me while I'm doing it, to full on a whole scenario.
so what is your role typically? Like, are you engaging back and saying things back and like playing a character essentially?
Yeah, I am. So my role whenever I am doing it is typically like the dumb like slave, or like the innocent dumb slave, and they're like the big master, the white superior, like inferior, like they're stupid, like spitting, slapping, choking, stuff like that.
Okay. So,
And my role would be like the slave.
right.
For like terms, yeah.
I don't know exactly how to word, like, this is, there's obviously so much sexual gratification that comes from this, but outside of that scenario, as a black man, and, you know, Joe and I aren't black and we can't speak for the black community, but is there a line where like outside of this role play scenario, like what is your view on racism, or would it affect you if someone like a stranger came up to you and did use racial slurs or said something to you?
Yeah, so it has affected me, but I've grown up in basically all my communities have been white. Like all of my friends are white. I was in a white fraternity. All my surroundings have been white, upper class, middle, upper class. And so I still am like on the outside. I have, just because I also don't have an accent when I talk, I still have like some black people that are like, why do you act so white? And I'm like, I'm still black. I still care. Like, I still like whatever. I'm just kind of like desensitized just because I've heard a lot of things growing up. So it isn't a huge issue for me. Also, I'm also someone that's like not super political either.
If black people that you're friends with or knew found out about the race play, do you think it would upset them?
Oh, 1,000,000%, because I recently have started becoming more friends with black people, and they would be like, what? There's no way. But yeah, so
I mean, it's clear that like some of your partners, you felt like, yeah, they are probably actually racist or something like that. Like, is that something that you try to vet for, or does that make the experience better if you feel like, oh, this person actually means the stuff they say? Like, is there any sort of, I don't know, like, does that play any sort of role in this?
honestly, it kind of does. Like, if I can feel that they're like really going for it in the moment, it like is way more intense.
Wow.
Before we finish this episode, we do have a sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website builder that will help you stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out a business, if you're looking to scale a business, if you're looking to brand yourself, advertise your services, or even set up an e-com shop to get paid, Squarespace has everything that you need. Personally, I've been using Squarespace a lot lately. If you're familiar with our other podcast, The Basement Yard, we actually use Squarespace for our tour website. This is where we sell all the tickets for the live shows that we're doing, and Squarespace was used to build that entire site. The best part about Squarespace is that it's super customizable, so I can design a beautiful website. I have no actual design skills online, but Squarespace makes it look like I do. And we're able to pick everything that we want, easily insert images, create all the links that we want, the text, insert our own branding for the show. It looks awesome and it's super functional. So we are able to have all our tickets listed. It links out so people can go buy those tickets. It's been great, and definitely wouldn't have been able to put together such a nice looking website without Squarespace. I know a lot of people who use Squarespace for their shops as well, so it's super easy to set up so that transactions can happen right on the website. So if you have a business, if you're looking to start a business, you can get paid directly through your Squarespace website. I've recommended Squarespace to so many people. They always come back to me. They tell me how easy it is. They thank me. It's great for anything you need. They also have templates as well. So you can go and there's beautiful templates already set up that you can use as your starting point. So you're not even necessarily starting from scratch. So you can check out squarespace.com/OPL for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code OPL and you will save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So just head to squarespace.com/OPL. You will get a free trial so you can test everything, play around, make sure it's for you. And then when you are ready to launch that website, you can use the offer code OPL and you will save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
So you, in a way, prefer your sexual partners to actually be racist?
A little bit, if that makes sense.
How does this sit, like when things like this are said and then you finish having sex and you finish the role play? Is it strange ever? Like, what is the dynamic when you shed the characters?
That's honestly the most weird part, and I still sometimes am like, okay, we're done. It is kind of strange a little bit. It like after like an intense moment, once we've all let go of our juices, when they keep going, like, yeah, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, I'm gonna always do this, and like kind of keep the thing going. It is a little weird, to be honest, but I kind of just go with it. Also, I whenever I was in college, I did like I grew up doing like theater stuff too, so I can keep it going, but it really doesn't like mean too much.
You're saying like you're a method actor in this situation?
I wouldn't say like a method actor, but like I'm naturally like funny and improv. Like I can think super fast on the fly. So like I'll keep it going. Now I probably most of the time aren't as responsive afterwards.
Are you ever nervous to be in this position where you're meeting up with someone who is, there's a high potential that they are racist and you're putting them in this position of pure like domination and power over you? And it seems like there is, you know, even an aspect of violence that could get mixed into this. Has there ever been 100%. A situation that's gone too far, or are you kind of scared leading up to it?
I have. So I had a guy that I found on a famous app, which is I use sometimes, Grindr. But to find these guys, we met up at my place, but like as I kind of peeked through the window, and as he was coming up, I saw him bring like an actual paddle, and I was like, that's we didn't agree to doing that. And so he came up and then like we were like fooling around and he kept like slapping his hand with it, which is totally fine. But like he completely like slapped my ass with it. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but
There's been a lot of
good.
things have been said on the show. You're fine.
They slapped my ass with it really, really hard, and then was like bare ass, and then like was like, no, I'm gonna slap you with this, and then I was like, okay, I don't like this, and then was like, yeah, what? When does your lease end? Do you want to come live with me? And I was like, now I'm getting uncomfortable. It's fine for me for like a moment, just like a sexual encounter, but I have had a couple times where like someone's been like, come live with me, or like they want to do more further things, and then I'm like, no, I'm okay. And then they're like, oh yeah, me too. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird little line that's like, I don't really teeter-totter around, but like,
do you have like a line? Like what is the boundary that you're like? I mean, I guess you sort of answered it there.
So a lot of people will ask me my boundaries beforehand. Like I'll normally say like the furthest you can go, I'm down with. But then there's like some like creepy older guy that like I say that to, and normally when I say that phrase to them, they're like, okay, so hard ER, I can say animal references, I can make noises at you, spit at you, like slap you, and that's like the furthest that they can think of. And then there's other people that are like, oh, what are your limits? And I'm like, if you ask me that, then I know that you're probably willing to do anything. So like for me, it's like no pain, so no like blood drawn, or I don't want any marks on me, to which some guys do like that in the community a lot, but I personally I can't do that, bring myself to do that. Two, I am not used to people ask if they could use me as a toilet.
Wow.
I'm also super I'm a clean guy. Like everyone knows me as like a clean freak. Like I get grossed out easy. So like the toilet stuff, the peeing, the pooping, like I can't do that either.
Yeah, that's next level.
It's a good line to have, I would say.
I mean, we've spoken to some toilets on the show, but it's that's a different level.
They're like, oh, I'm going to use you as my. I'm like, actually, block this. So yeah.
Would you are you actively dating or looking to be in a relationship? Because I'm curious if you were to settle down with a woman.
I actually am.
Wait, you're in a relationship now?
No, I'm single.
Oh, but you would get into a relationship.
Yeah.
With a woman. And so if you did end up settling down with a woman, would you just go cold turkey and be able to stop all of this?
Yeah, that's honestly been my biggest fear, is like I could stop just because like there was like a while where I just didn't do anything and was just like, oh, okay, maybe I should stop doing this because it doesn't look so good. And so I probably stopped for like a year and then had another interaction where it sparked up again. But I am nervous that in finding like a wife or something, like a girl that I do end up wanting to marry, that like it won't be as intense as like the sex won't be as intense of what I could find.
Yeah. So, I mean, settling down with a woman that doesn't engage in any of this when it seems like the most pleasure you've gotten is with race play and men. It's just like opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
1,000,000%. And so.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to have an answer to that now unless you find yourself in that position, but you would try to give this up. Like you wouldn't want to find yourself in a position where
I would try for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
What if you felt like you couldn't fight the urge? Would you try to speak to them about it, or would you kind of sneak around?
I don't think I could, to be honest. I thought about that too. Like, I don't think I could if I wanted to, just because it would also open the can of like, well, do you like guys? Like, are you gay now? And
yeah,
I'm like,
it's a lot. Yeah. And also like being in the Christian community, like if you were to marry a woman and then had these urges, I also assume you wouldn't want to commit adultery and have an affair either.
Correct. You're correct. Like, I'm also someone that's super loyal in everything I do. So, like, if I am in a committed relationship, which was that 1 year where I didn't do anything, then, like, I'm all in.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. But, wow, this has been very eye-opening. I feel like this is...
It's an intense one for sure.
It's intense, and I don't think a lot of people know that this even exists.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, I didn't know it existed till I had that moment with that guy in college, and he felt very comfortable to say it. And then that's when I was like, oh, wait, that was kind of hot.
Which, just to circle back to that, like, that's just crazy that he just went for it and there was no discussion of this. That's insane.
There was zero discussion. Like, in the happening, I was like, wait, did he? I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that.
That's
and then
crazy,
I was like, I didn't question. Honestly, another thing is I just didn't question him. And I was like, yeah, like, okay, I guess.
I mean, it unlocked something in you, and you're clearly very into it. And, you know, again, just thank you. I mean, this is like, you know, what else can we say during conversations like this other than thank you for reaching out and being so open, honest.
Yeah, I feel like I've been speechless half the time at this stuff because I'm not, like, again, you're just being very honest about it. I think that,
sure.
like,
it is a still growing community that I didn't realize was so huge until recently.
Yeah, and obviously a controversial one. Again, like, I don't think a lot of people are aware of this, and now many more people will be aware. And I mean, we're kind of talking before we started recording, like, just so curious to see kind of the engagement and comments and, like, people's eyes being open to this and what their initial reaction to all of this is. So, but again, like, the show's nothing, you know, without the guests like you who come on and kind of share this super honestly. So that was a very interesting one.
For sure. For sure.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It was awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one.
You do.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know if you should say.
That's a very intense version of what I thought that was going to be honest.
Yeah, that seems like as extreme as it can get, and like
it's also like past, because we've talked to people that have degrading kinks and whatever, so I'm expecting something, and it feels like it went beyond that even. And
it's, you know, what's interesting too, like, full disclosure for the audience, there was an episode that we recorded a long time ago, and it had to do with race play, and we were excited to, like, I think, bring this to light, and, like, we had never heard of it, and the guest just ended up saying that they weren't comfortable with the episode going out, which we totally respect. That happens a lot. There's episodes where we record, the guest reach out and says, you know what, I'm not ready for this to go out, so we're not going to put it out. But him, like, he was finding partners and kind of asking them to engage in this. So, like, it wasn't people who were into race play or even knew what it was, but he would say to them, like, I want you to say this. I want you to say derogatory things about me. So he was finding people that he was kind of, like, working up, and they were like, okay, like, if this really will give you gratification, like, I'll try it and I'll do it. This, though, just kind of shed light on, like, that community's out there, and it's like, now there's just a bunch of white dudes lining up ready to, like, be in this position. And I don't know, like, I don't want to, like, generalize for a kink community, but I, like, are they all racist? I don't know, but all I know is, like, I couldn't even fathom, like, you just can't, how do you, like, get close to even the point of saying those things and, like, acting out that role play, you know?
And being, like, good at it. Yeah, I feel like, you know, that's a tough one. I mean, again, see, this is, like, an interesting thing, because we always, like, end certain episodes like this, like, oh, whatever makes people happy kind of thing. But it's like, it's hard for me to be like, hey, do whatever you want, because it feels I guess like I don't want to empower the wrong people by saying like, yo, just do your thing and be happy and whatever. Like it's this guy, it's his life, whatever he wants to live. And I guess
he is a black man
he's a black
who
man,
is
so
asking for this and seeking this out.
Yeah. It's just tough because it's like, I don't know, man. Like, do we want to empower people that may actually feel that way? And then it's kind of like, well, because of your personal experience, you're kind of like, oh, well, I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. But to other people, it's a gigantic deal. It's just hard to,
Yeah, and that's where like we can't sound off on this. Like we have no voice in the black community whatsoever to even understand what the feelings are of, learning about something like this. But like we said to him, I mean, thank you for being so honest and open about this. There's a community for this. And like he said, a growing community. He's in it. Seems like he would know. And just another episode, like curious if listeners and viewers are hearing about this for the first time. Like we love the engagement in the comments to kind of understand your thought process. Cause like we are also hearing these things for the first time and having our initial reactions. So it is always cool to see like our growing podcast community that kind of has their reactions in the comments as well. So
yeah,
we shall see.
We shall see. The comments, I can only imagine, but we shall see. For anyone out there that would like to be a guest on our show, hit us up. Our email is oplpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a message and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, TikTok @OPL Podcast. If you are, actually, this is new. We have video on Spotify now. So if you're a Spotify listener, typically, you can watch our reactions and the video on Spotify. You can also leave comments on Spotify now, which is cool. Obviously, the show's on YouTube and then all audio platforms as well. And so leave some comments, chat with us there, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.